Hey guys, Jess Cobb here from Predator Hunting Calls. I want to give you guys a quick overview of what's going to be in your packages with your beta kits. The first is going to be this is just your general hardware. Inside you can see you've got your metal plate for your antenna. This is what you're going to attach your antenna to get your extra range. And then there's going to be the bolts to attach your speaker, 3 bolts there, and then 4 of the smaller bolts and washers to attach your stack board into your enclosure. So that's all that's in the hardware kit. You're going to have your 8-cell AA battery holder, and then your card stack. It's going to have, I already have it built with the RC audio card stacked on top of the amplifier board, and we've fed the antenna through here for shipping, so just pull that out through. So that's all ready to go. And then also you're going to have the enclosure and the horn speaker. So these are going to be the contents of your kit, and what I want to do now is kind of run through how you're going to connect this. And what I think is a good idea is that you guys just take this system, plug it up on your bench, and see if you can get it working before you start drilling out your enclosure and all that stuff. It's a good test just to get it up and running, and then you can get a good feel for how it operates. So the most important thing, as you know, you never want to touch metal to this card. So like we're going to have this big metal plate here that you're going to use for your antenna. Make sure this never flops down and touches your card, especially when it's turned on. Okay. So, and then also you want to be very cautious of static. I'm actually wearing a static guard here that keeps me from shocking the board. What's especially susceptible is the antenna port, so you want to be very careful that you don't walk across the carpet in socks and touch this board. Okay, it's best if you work on this on a concrete floor with shoes on, and that way you'll minimize any static. And then also touching like something metal and discharging yourself before you touch the board is a good idea. So just keep that in mind. If you're real cautious about that, you shouldn't have any problems. I did add a little ESD diode here on the antenna port to protect it against static, so there is some level of protection, but it's just better safe than sorry. Okay, in this next segment what I want to do is just walk through what it takes to go ahead and hook up your RC audio card to both your battery and then the horn speaker. So those are the 2 things that are going to wire in. And as I talked about, there's a number of ports here you can hook stuff up to on the RC audio card, but all you're going to do initially is just the battery and the ground for the battery. The battery connects into this VBAT port, and let me see if I can get this in the viewer here. It's kind of hard to see with the reflection. See, that second port here is VBAT plus, and that's where your red wire goes. Your red wire for your battery just simply goes in that port and then screws down. Okay, right in there. And then the ground right next to it, the GND, that's ground, that's where your black wire goes. So that just simply goes in there, and then you screw it down and clamp it down. It's critical that you'd never let these 2 wires, the metal of the wires, touch each other. So make sure that when you get this in, either of these connections, you get it in, and that the insulation is protected from the adjacent wire. Okay, the insulation's there between them. And I'll go over that a little bit more in the next segment here when I hook it all up. Okay, real quick, I just want to do a quick summary of what these ports are, so you know what you got. This port here is called VOUT plus, and what that is as you see on the card, there's a switch, and this is your turn off and on switch to turn the device on and off, and it's clearly labeled here, on and off. Okay, so you know which way to go. Okay, there's a VOUT plus in case you want your battery voltage to run something else. You can just hook up here with a ground next to it, and you can have your full 12 volts coming out, and it's switched. This port is switched, so when you turn this off, this device off, this port's off. Next to it is relay plus and minus. Those are the last 2 here on this connector, and this is simply connects to this relay, and when you toggle your relay on and off with your remote control, this will either turn into 1 ohm or almost 0 ohms as a short between these two ports, or an open. So that allows you to turn things on and off. There is a current limit of 400 milliamps, so make sure you understand what you're connecting, that you don't overdrive the current through this port. Over here, as we said, there's already VBAT plus and ground, and this is for your battery, as we talked about. And then there's switch 1 and switch 2, and these are to allow you to connect an external toggle switch. So it'll bypass this switch. You just leave this one off if you do that, and then you run the 2 wires up to your toggle switch on the outside of your box, and you can turn it on and off with that. Okay. Over here is all the stuff that runs down to the amplifier. You don't need to worry about this. This is the sleep wire that allows me to put this amplifier to sleep when you're in the pause or stop state. And then the 2 power wires, and it's switched too. So the power to the amplifier turns on and off with a switch, and same with the toggle switch if you hook it up here. Okay. This is the expansion port, and there's going to be more on this later. This is for advanced developers, guys that want to build special circuits, and there is commands from the remote control that allow you to toggle these I/O lines, and later we're going to program in, not for the beta build, but we're going to have SPI control, so guys can really do some advanced things and offer it out to the market. And then last underneath is your 2 channels for your speakers. These 2 are for speaker 1, and these 2 are for speaker 2. Obviously you're only going to hook to one of them right now, but it's the same idea. You just push the wires in, the 2 wires from the speakers, one in this port, one in that port, and then you just reach down with your screwdriver through this hole. Make sure this is all powered off. Don't have any batteries connected when you're working with the board. Put the screwdriver down and through, and then it's a standard screwdriver head down there that you'll reach down in and then clamp the wires down. Okay, so that's it. It's that simple. You're just going to hook the battery, the VBAT plus and ground, and then the speaker wires, and you'll be up and running. And I'm going to do that here in the next segment. All right, so I'm going to be right back. I'm going to start a new video here and show you how to hook it all up. Okay, thanks.